Hi everyone.
Hi guys.
Lovely to see you again. Welcome back. For those of you who've not been with us in previous videos, we're back in the loft. This is not a projection. And it smells really good because we've just been doing a bit of spraying and sniffing, haven't we? So it smells good. We should probably make a perfume. Oh, we already did. Yeah. Sorry. Kidding. So today we're talking about one of our absolute favourite, most exciting brands,
a perfumer who we're always interested to see what he comes up with. Dmitry Bortnikoff of originally of Feel Oud, a collaboration with Russian Adam. Now he's produced quite a few fragrances, lots of which we talked about, several of which I've bought. And
you've got a good collection now of Bortnikoff.
I'm trying to think. My favourites are. I really like Oud Maximus, which is just this amazing combination of. I was going to say Russian oud. It's not. It's kind of like a Hindi oud, quite a funky Hindi oud with these amazing, like creamy orange, really beautiful. But then I also the other thing, and we always say this with Bortnikoff, as opposed to some of the, as opposed to like Ariege or Ensar, is that the blend you get with Bortnikoff is exquisite, and fragrances like Musk Habib, which you've got a bottle of. And then I actually bought a bottle of as well because I had a bit of a sample and I was getting through it and I really crave it.
It's so French and classical, and it feels like it's completely modern on the one hand, and then on the other hand, like it is a turn of the century masterpiece that they don't make anymore, and that you have to, it's like something that you found in the Osmotek and stole while Patricia de Nicolai wasn't looking.
Amazing.
It's beautiful. All of them, I think.
But Amber Cologne was another one which kind of first, I still love it. It's just...
That was the first one you ever introduced to me.
Yeah. And it was, that opening, that citrus. So Dimitri's had a lot of success with these clones. We talked about a few of them. Moss Cologne, which is another one I ended up buying a bottle of.
Very nice.
So here is another, this is kind of almost combining the two spheres that he does. Lots of oud dominant fragrances, and then he's found success with these cologne fragrances. So why not combine the two? Oud Cologne. Now, what some people have complained of is that they don't last long enough and they're a bit too floral. So this lasts longer.
Don't buy it or don't smell it.
But this is an extrait. So it's the first of the cologne range. So he's done Amber Cologne, Musk Cologne, Vesna Cologne, and Musk Cologne as well. But this one is the first one that's an extrait. So it's a little bit more expensive. It's $250 for 50 ml, which is about 195
cheaper than Creed.
Is it?
Oh yeah, Creed's like $500 million now. for increasingly shit.
So he actually refers to this as long-lasting, and it does last well. Let's talk.
It's so interesting. Sorry to interrupt you, but it's so interesting the fact that he's naming a perfume after what is traditionally the least concentrated version in the most concentrated version that it could be, an extrait. I love that. I mean, I just love the boldness of doing that because he gets the style of a cologne as well as just the concentration.
Well,
there's a nod.
Cologne does not just mean eau de cologne, low kind of oil concentration. It implies this kind of fresh citrusy wood, which is a splash on.
It's the style,
straight
isn't it?
out the shower after a shave.
Yeah.
So Bortnikoff sent us these samples. Right, this is what I'm just going to tell you exactly what happened. So he was going to send us some samples. They haven't arrived yet. So what happened is Arabian Perfumes UK, who carry a lot of the Bortnikoff range, they sent a decant. Here we go. So that's what we've got trying. We've also got Tabac Doré, where he sent one of these 9mm, but Bortnikoff were going to send us some samples in the post, and they've been in the post for about a month.
I think Boris has taken them and he's enjoying them for his wedding.
Anyway, fortunately, Arabian Perfumes sent us.
I must go on their website actually. I still haven't had a look.
They've got loads of things. They've got what's the other Turkish brand that we looked at recently?
Pekci?
No, they have Katana and anyway.
Oh, I know what I mean. Yeah.
Like Ismail Effendi.
Yeah.
Anyway.
There was a really nice one, wasn't there?
This is Oud Cologne. It's $250.
I'm so excited.
Here we go. Give a good old spray there.
Spraying a Bortnikoff is always a kind of a moment.
So I've had this for a couple of weeks. I've worn it and experienced a bit. Joe has not.
That's it. Every time he's on the money. Oh, beautiful. This kind of tobacco-y lavender thing just nestling in the background, but behind the most beautiful, chewy, zesty.
I just get...
That is gorgeous.
Yeah.
That is fantastic.
I get straight away this beautiful, zesty, slightly grapefruity, orangey. It's just...
Cakey again.
Yeah.
It's cakey, which I really have enjoyed.
You could bite your way through it,
Yeah.
couldn't you? Don't, because it's perfume. It's for spraying. Not
It is. I mean, it's got this just something nestling behind that citrusy thing.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like a cologne, does it?
No, it's kind of right behind there. This just sort of slightly dry tobacco. Is there some lavender going on, like a tiny little lavender?
No. So I tell you what I think there is. So,
I love that.
So what is surprising? You don't get this chewy white floral, which you get. He loves this kind of frangipani mid, and you don't get that here. You get a few things which are going to happen in a minute, which you'll get. So what you're referring to is maybe actually geranium. I get a bit of geranium that kind of peaks this up. So the only florals I get are some geranium with the tiniest hint of rose. I don't really get the rose, mostly geranium. But what it's going to take a little while. But this citrus top lasts about 15 minutes. Then we get juniper. I get really quite a lot of juniper, and another thing which always scares me a bit, which is pink pepper. I get quite a lot of pink pepper. Now, sometimes I don't like pink pepper. In fact, quite often I dislike pink pepper. I really associate it with a lot of kind of cheap designers, a lot of fragrances I don't like.
Yeah. It's a sort of easy get out of jail for a free card, isn't it? Put some pink pepper in it.
I don't know. It's why I like lots of the Ormond Jane fragrances I don't like because of the pink pepper. But here it's somehow just about kept in check. I get this lovely gin and tonic vibe.
Do you know? It's funny. I'm already starting to get a little bit of a ginny thing, and a week ago I wore for the first time in years Juniper Sling from Penhaligon's, and it's got richer in the bottle. It's got darker and more concentrated. And I thought, that's actually a note that I really enjoy as a good juniper thing. But here, and like some kind of mandarin or something, some very oily.
I think that
oily orange.
Those in the top for the next, as I say, for the next 15 minutes or so, we're still going to keep getting that zesty, oily, citrusy melange at the top.
The quality of it is just so fantastic.
But it feels, I feel it feels one of these cologne ones. It feels definitely more masculine, more obviously masculine.
Yeah.
I'm not someone. I mean, I wear Chanel No. 5. I wear Mitsuko. I wear lots of feminine fragrances, but this definitely feels as if he is trying to make it slightly more masculine. Maybe he's actually going against what he loves. I think he loves the white florals, but he's maybe doing one which doesn't go in that way.
Yeah, I mean, this is like a version. This is like Eau Sauvage for the modern man, done on an incredible budget of incredible ingredients.
That's the thing. It's actually a very, very, very accessible fragrance.
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing with this, that you could smell this on anyone, and you're never going to get a comment like, "Oh, I can see why you like it, but it's a bit funky, it's a bit strange." It's just very beautiful. I can't see anyone having a problem with this at all.
It starts to get a little bit sweeter in the mid. I get this kind of creamy sweetness, which is not floral. When he did on Instagram, he did a few teasers, and one of the teasers he included was Siamese benzoin. Now, benzoin is something which is kind of, it works largely as a kind of fixative. It makes things kind of last a bit longer and brings them to life. But it has this kind of slightly myrrhy, slightly ambery, slightly kind of sweet. It's often used with labdanum and vanilla in your kind of traditional, if you're using a really kind of simplistic amber accord of labdanum, vanilla, benzoin. And without going in a really ambery way, I think you start to get this benzoin and a hint of vanilla. I also then, again, don't know if you're going to get this far when you're just smelling it now, I started to get a little bit of a medicinal twang.
I'm getting something there, a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is.
So, I mean, that could be the kind of the oud. I did feel, when I wore this, the titular material of oud is definitely not hugely dominant. I wouldn't say, if you're looking for a big oudy fragrance, this is not it. If you're someone who's afraid of oud, don't be worried about this. No. I do get a slight medicinal twang and a slight kind of woodiness, which kind of lasts through. But
I'm still getting this tobacco aspect that I really enjoy. It's very subtle, but for me it's really there.
The other thing which then
ashy.
The thing which, again, you're not going to get this far. Like I said, at the dry down, I didn't get much oud necessarily, but what I get a lot of is tonka. I feel the dry down of this is almost all tonka, more so than benzoin or anything else. It becomes this very creamy, not even creamy, like cream-like, almost kind of like lactonic, not sandalwoody, but kind of creamy, tonkery.
I can imagine it actually. The sweetness is ramping up as I speak.
Yeah,
almost like a lemon curd thing going on, with a bit of a pastry base.
I mean,
it's definitely edible.
It's a shame. It's a shame that I don't feel the oud is hugely prominent in this. The other slightly strange thing about the dry down, as I said, it goes not ambery, but it goes, for me, tonkery, benzoin-y, which is not quite what I expect when I see the word cologne. I expect a citrus going into wood.
Yeah. To go into a sort of tonka direction would suggest it's a sort of more in the modern, what would be called the modern happy-go-lucky gentleman designer thing. But this doesn't smell like that at all. But it's a sort of not an ingredient you'd expect in a classical cologne.
I can
tribute.
I thought I was going to really, really love this, and I do. Like, you can tell our reaction to the opening. It's really, really great.
The opening is fantastic.
I think for me, it's a strong like, not a love. It's difficult. Sorry, it's a bit difficult for you to tell because you're not getting the full experience. And also the kind of the way that I was envisaging it. I was thinking of it as a summery fragrance, but this tonkery, benzoin-y dry down is not necessarily an obvious. This creamy, slightly vanillic dry down. It's not.
Do you know what it does? It doesn't feel a million miles away from Brooklyn by Gallivant.
Yeah, that was the one. That was the one that kind of sprang to mind, but better, much better kind of quality.
Yeah.
Actually, then I do enjoy wearing that on a summer's day. I mean, maybe I'll.
But there's something of that creaminess which makes it neither fish nor fowl, somehow.
Do you want to try something completely different?
Yes. What do we have? So this is
Tabac
Doré.
Doré, which means golden tobacco. Interesting that he's got the word doré, as in Arige le doré. So this is. I can't take it out of the box. He's actually given us.
I do enjoy that presentation, though. I think.
Yeah, it's a good. I can't remember how much these.
Smart.
So a 50ml bottle of this is more expensive. It's $350 for 50ml. Now.
That is hefty, isn't it?
Just get a load of this.
But you never feel that you're being undersold with these, do you, in terms of the quality? God, that's a good colour, isn't it? I'm almost nervous to smell this.
You don't need to put it any closer.
Yeah, it's enormous, and it's absolutely breathtakingly enormous and wonderful.
This is,
damn it,
almost of all the Bortnikoff, it's one of the most spectacular first smells. So he said it includes over 300 materials, and this is absolutely wowzers. That's
one of the best openings I've ever smelled.
This is a dark. I know it says tobacco, but I'm just getting loads of dark chocolate, booze, hints of leather, hints of kind of cherry. I'm getting
a big chocolate patchouli thing going on here. Like my Parfumum Roma. It's in that territory. My God.
But it teeters. I didn't like Sayat Nova. I found the apricot. It became too sweet. Whereas this, I felt there's such a balance of dark and sweet and rich and labdanum-y and sexy and treacly. This is really wow.
That is something to live with, isn't it? That's just incredible.
Yeah, I mean,
dark licorice, black treacle.
What I will say, it was a shame because this opening doesn't last as long as you think. Yeah. It smells so kind of dark and heavy. You think it's going to last all the time.
It's a shame to hear that.
It lasts about half an hour. I found.
But what a half an hour though.
But it's so good. It really. If you went into a shop and sprayed this, you would buy it because
I absolutely would buy it on the spot.
But as I say, I don't think that this lasts more than about half. Not the fragrance. The fragrance does, but this top. I say top. It's such a kind of base heavy, but this first impression, which is so wow.
So how did it develop then from this? I mean, does it go downhill?
It becomes different. So it becomes you get more of the tobacco-y facets, and with the tobacco, you get a slight dry dustiness, almost a kind of oak mossiness. I don't know. It's
I
got
would
oak
enjoy
moss,
that.
but you know that kind of slightly dry vegetal.
Yeah.
So I get this kind of dry vegetal tobacco-y quality.
Quite hay as well.
Yeah. Well, talking of hay, so we talked about before this pyrazines.
Oh yeah.
And it's interesting because he actually mentions them on, and just the other week, because I've been buying loads of random materials, I bought what is called a popcorn pyrazine. And pyrazines are amazing materials which have got facets of popcorn, burnt caramel, burnt sugar, chocolate, tobacco, really bitter cocoa, and as well as milk chocolate.
Yeah,
and
incredibly complex.
I get lots of that going on in the dry down. It's as if he's taken tobacco and tried the tobacco absolute and tried to amplify the facets of the tobacco with all these pyrazines. So you get kind of hints of popcorn, hints of burnt sugar, hints of burnt nuts, chocolate, coffee, definitely coffee, both fresh coffee and burnt coffee, as well as the coffee smell from the cup.
I mean, it's really stunning.
I'm starting to get some of that popcorniness already.
I'm not yet, but I think I can see it going in that direction from what you're saying.
The opening made me really think of Ore by Slumberhouse, which is a super dark, chocolatey, boozy, kind of woody thing. And this turns into a slightly more dried, burnt tobacco-y feel.
And dryness is there though.
Yeah,
isn't it?
you're starting to get that dry kind of dry burntness.
Quite arid.
And I felt that's what the majority of the fragrance became about, these pyrazines, which is, I mean, there's such it's such an interesting material. I've only got a popcorn one, but go and Google them. Go on something like Pale and type in pyrazine, and you'll see there's lots of different ones, like a cocoa one, and they've got good descriptions. And I feel that's what's going on in here.
Wow.
And it becomes really quite complex. The only thing I just slightly felt that when you're paying $350, you're expecting lots of tobacco absolute.
Yeah.
And I feel mostly what you get in the dry down is these pyrazines, which reminded me of those, there's lots of Prin fragrances. Which have that popcorny kind of burnt quality, and they're in his cheaper price bracket.
To give them the quality of what's in the title,
yeah,
like the whiskey, whatever it was,
coffee, whiskey, yeah, and they are in the slightly cheaper bracket. And I don't know, I slightly feel for $350 that this is a bit.
So do you mean that you sense that this sort of the performance enhancing aspect has been ramped up compared to the
maybe
essence of it?
A little bit, yeah.
I can see what you mean. I love the effect. I really love the effect.
I just wish that opening lasted a bit longer. It's still really. It's sexy as hell, that opening, and it is
for that half an hour. That
even
all
of the dry down. This is a pretty long lasting fragrance. I found, good 8 hours, and it's really interesting. All of it I kind of liked.
I think this is the kind of thing where I would need to lock myself away in a room and just see what happens. I think it's so arresting in the opening that I just get blinded by it, and I think I can't imagine not buying that if I smelt it on the spot in a shop somewhere.
Okay, and you're starting to get this slight medicinal twang as well. So I think there must be there's a little bit of oud.
There's a little bit of animalic funk going on in the background there,
along with
not
a bit
massive,
of
but just
slight medicinal twang. And again, so I think there is some oud in here without being. Wouldn't say it's an oud dominant, but it's a beautiful, sexy, interesting fragrance. I'm not personally. I don't think I would spend $350 on it.
I love it, and
it's great.
I think you've experienced it more than I have, so I'm just going on first impressions.
It's amazing when you go back to the Oud Cologne, how it still feels you're right at the top.
What is this?
Is it that one? It's this one.
Yeah, that's such a familiar smell to me for some reason as well. I find that really comforting.
Yeah.
It takes me to a place, and I can't remember where, but it's a really comforting smell.
They are.
Oh, they're both fantastic,
they're both beautiful,
really, aren't they? Yeah, let's be honest.
I feel that they're not quite. I wouldn't go out and buy either of them. I think they're nearly, but not quite. But by all means, sample them. And please,
really
when you do if you're in the UK, you can sample these at Arabian Perfumes UK. Bortnikoff do sell samples, and the 9ml bottles. please, like, these are expensive fragrances. Don't go out and blind buy bottles.
No.
Do get yourself a sample. Try them, because, yeah.
I mean, this tobacco is the kind of thing that I think, if you love something like Tobacco Vanille, you would really enjoy this. It's a different league. This is a different league.
It's beautiful. It's really beautiful. It's complex. It's
so
interesting.
comforting.
It's rich. It's really lovely to wear. I mean,
gorgeous.
Yeah, lovely stuff. Always
it
interested
again.
to smell what Dimitri does. If you've tried them, let us know what you think. But until next time,
bye.
Happy sniffing.